Hello, Frames here, and today I'm going to beat the World's Hardest Game 3 in 9 minutes and 58 seconds. This run is possible with the use of a powerful glitch known as save warping. If I toggle autosaving off and on again, the save data will update, and this essentially allows me to save anywhere. And this can lead to unintended side effects, especially in these tip screens. And normally the game only saves once the tip screen is cleared, and so when I save during a tip screen, the game will save both being at a tip screen and being past the current tip screen at the same time. And then once I go to the main menu and continue, the game will load the most logical thing, the next tip screen, skipping entire levels. If that wasn't entirely clear, I've put a more detailed version of this explanation in the description below. I had to condense it a lot because I'm about to save warp again while actually playing the game this time. And when I enter the next room and save warp, the save data will update the room I'm in, but not the checkpoint I saved at, since I haven't touched any checkpoint in there yet. Instead, it will take me to the checkpoint with the same index as the one I touched last, on the bottom left, which is the second one in this room, but there is no second checkpoint in the next room. So the game will try to spawn me at a non-existent checkpoint, and as a result, some things will not update properly, like the player's position and ability to die. When you touch one of the options in the main menu, the player is briefly made invincible. Normally, the game will update the player once they're in the game, but that didn't happen. We've stored the invincibility state from the main menu into the game itself. Now there is another thing that briefly turns you invincible in this game, which is activating a cutscene of a door opening. This key, for example, opens a door in a different area, and if I were to collect it and play the cutscene, the game would update the player properly and cancel the invincibility storage. So I didn't get that key, but I still need to activate a cutscene at some point in order to progress through the level. Right here. And once this cutscene is finished playing, I can die again. Right now I'm actually stuck here since I skipped one of the doors and it's still closed. Luckily, we can just save warp and break the game again, since the last checkpoint I touched, on the bottom right, is the second checkpoint in this room. You already know that the player won't get updated properly when I do this, but that's not all. Notice the snubby land option on the bottom. That's where I'm going. That's right, all the wall collisions from the menu get stored too, but right now that storage is already cancelled because I got a key. This key opened a door which updates the walls properly. I needed to touch the checkpoint first because this actually updates the key properly. And this time the invincibility storage is short-lived, because I already got the next cutscene key. I've already saved a decent amount of time by just collecting both sets of coins in B3 very quickly. Unfortunately, I'm unable to take invincibility storage with me to the top half of the level, since there were 2 cutscenes required to progress, and each of them uses one of the only 2 opportunities to trigger it. Main menu storage itself is easy, but doing it in a way that doesn't softlock requires some very specific conditions. You need a regular key to fix the walls, and you need a checkpoint to fix the key, and both of those need to be accessible from within the boundaries of the walls in the main menu. The key can't be a cutscene key, since that would negate the effects immediately. And C1 technically has all of this available, but the problem is that if you save warp in here, you'll spawn at one of the checkpoints like normal. You need a checkpoint with a higher index, which technically exists in C2, but it's currently unreachable. And once you can get there, the keys in C1 will be gone. Now just now I had a little brain fart, I messed up my route and died. At the time I did not know whether I could still achieve my goal of a sub 10 after this death. This turned out to work great for controlling my nerves during the rest of the run. Now this is one of the hardest rooms in the game, including for speedrunners, since there's so little freedom to possibly make things easier. Although there is one thing you could do. Because enemy hitboxes are based on their sprites, they are affected by the game resolution and the in-game quality setting. There's one part near the end where getting past the enemy is a 2-frame window. On low quality, it becomes a 1-frame window, but on high quality and sufficiently high resolution, it becomes a 3-frame window. And on top of that, there now exists an additional skip with a 1-frame window that saves 2 seconds, which I needed here and also managed to get. Right here, I make it past this enemy and get the coins at the top immediately. This room is very brutal, but to my surprise, it actually did end up getting more consistent over time. Here I'm taking a bit of a risk by ignoring the checkpoint, but it's alright since I'm fairly consistent at these parts, although I have died here before. Now in this next room, I went a little crazy. I carefully crafted a very weird route that was insanely fast, but also had a bunch of stupid parts. After losing multiple sub-10 runs to this room alone, I finally decided to revise my route and came up with one that's much safer, has less stupid stuff, and was only 2 seconds slower. And it's still a pretty insane route that I'm still happy with. And the coin room has a very standard route though. There is another route where you collect the coins more efficiently by going diagonally, but that's extremely difficult and way too risky. Now if you're not familiar with this game, there's a little surprise coming up. Cutscene keys might take away your invincibility. They also give you it temporarily, and this little fact has been abused in speedruns for a long time. It's called a keyclip, and coming up right now is objectively the best use of a keyclip in the whole game. This coin room is supposed to be a trap, but we managed to outsmart the enemies. Now after all of this, I still need to go back through D2, but just for safety I will skip this part with a save warp. Now this will just take me back to the checkpoint I started at in D2. To do this though, I needed to close the game and reopen it. For this run I just had multiple copies of the game open at once. I closed one and clicked play on the other. The reason I needed to restart the game was to save all the coins. When you save warp normally, the coins will be saved, but they will also have a status that tells them to respawn when you continue. It turns out that closing the game gets rid of this status, and conveniently main menu storage does so as well. Again, there's more details in the description. Now right here is yet another regular save warp to skip a short segment of B3. And since the checkpoints line up, the game loads properly, but I don't have to worry about coins respawning since I didn't have any coins collected. I could have also entered B3 from somewhere else, which would be beneficial for a 100% run, but due to the way most of B3 was skipped earlier, it's faster to go all the way around. And coming up, there's one last instance of main menu storage. But there's no checkpoints or keys in this room. Well, there's kind of a key. And once you collect all the coins, the coin door will open, and coin doors happen to work slightly differently from regular doors. In this case, it will fix all the walls without the need of a checkpoint. Though I did have to collect some of the coins that would otherwise be inaccessible due to the menu walls. Those coins will stay collected due to main menu storage, but they reappear visually. It's strange, but it works out. And funnily enough, staying invincible allows me to get to the finish earlier, but it doesn't actually help that much. The run only ends when all the cutscenes have finished and the submit score screen shows up. While the second cutscene is usually triggered once you hit the finish, it won't actually start until the first cutscene has ended. It's even possible to save warp in this room and hit the finish without triggering any cutscene, and after that the only way to beat the game is to go back down to trigger the first cutscene. Now there's one last theoretical time save. You could skip the coin door, since the finish checkpoint will take you to the end of the game, even if you haven't collected all the coins. However, to actually get past the door, you'd have to break the game in an entirely new way. And lastly, I'd like to give some shoutouts to the actual World Tires Game 3 speedrunners. There's Danicker, who has not only done some groundbreaking runs in the past, he's also done a great job reverse engineering the code. He was able to figure out the explanation behind level skip, and the fact that you can save coins by restarting the game. And there's Rafalik, who has been pushing this game to its limit, as well as all the other games in the series. I have to credit him for some of the routes used in my run, because while I did try for a while to stick to my own ideas everywhere, his routes were sometimes just faster and occasionally even easier. Now, this run would not have been what it is now without their efforts. So go check them out, go check me out, and maybe even subscribe. Oh, one more thing. The walls from 5A1 were conserved into this screen, which can sometimes happen without doing any glitches. Also, submitting the score does nothing except take you back to the main menu, and somehow I'm still invincible and also soft locked. Anyway, that's it.